Today, we're diving into the science of pausing human life. And let me tell you, this isn't just science fiction anymore. It's actually leaping from the pages of a novel right into the operating room.
I want you to imagine looking at someone who, for all intents and purposes, looks dead, right? Their skin is cold like marble. Their heart is barely beating, and you can't find any brain activity at all. But here's the thing. They aren't dead. They're in a state that we're only just beginning to wrap our heads around. They're paused.
For years, Hollywood has sold us this really clean, really sleek vision of what this is supposed to look like. But the reality? The biological truth of pausing time is, well, it's a lot messier. And frankly, it's way more violent than the movies ever let on.
Yeah, we all picture those shiny white pods from movies like Interstellar, where going into stasis is like taking a gentle Sunday nap. But in reality, it's a forced shutdown of the body. It's a violent biological process, where you take a system that's designed to burn hot and fast, and you force it to run on, like, the fumes of a dying candle.
And listen, this isn't just some wild thought experiment. The most shocking part of all of this is that it's already happening, right now. In Maryland, a trauma surgeon has taken a dying person, pumped out all their blood, replaced it with ice-cold salt water, effectively turning them off, and then turned them back on again.
So you have to be asking, how is any of this even possible? Well, before we can even think about putting people in pods for a trip to Mars, we have to look to the true masters of this dark art, the animal kingdom.
Okay, check this out. Let's talk about the Arctic ground squirrel. This little creature does something that basically defies physics. It drops its body temperature to -3 degrees Celsius. That's below the freezing point of water. I mean, by all rights, its cells should just shatter into icy mush, but they don't.
And this is where we find all the biological hacks we need to steal. The squirrel supercools its blood so ice crystals can't form. Its brain connections actually wither away, and then, when it wakes up, they just regrow perfectly. And then you have black bears, which recycle their own toxic waste, urea, to build new proteins so they don't lose muscle. They're essentially these self-regenerating closed-loop systems. It's incredible.
So, this brings us to the biggest question of all. The real challenge here isn't just about building some fancy high-tech pod. It's about whether we can actually convince our own biology to act like it's a hibernating bear. You know, for the longest time, we just assumed humans didn't have this capability. We're not bears, right? But it turns out we do. We have a biological off switch, and a pretty radical new medical procedure is proving it.
It's called EPR. That stands for Emergency Preservation and Resuscitation. And it's a pretty wild procedure used on trauma patients, think gunshot victims, who've basically bled out and are clinically dead. It's the ultimate last-ditch effort to just hit pause on them, buying surgeons a precious window of time to save their life.
So here's how this mind-blowing procedure works. First, the surgeons pump out whatever blood is left in the patient's body. Then, they pump in ice-cold saline, which drops the body temperature all the way down to 10 degrees Celsius. This basically crashes the metabolism, pausing the body for about an hour while they fix the injuries. And finally, they warm the body back up, return the blood, and restart the heart. And the crazy thing is, it actually works.
Okay, so this proves we have the hardware, right? The off switch is real. But there's a huge problem. And it turns out the real challenge isn't the cooling down part, it's the waking up. So if we can pause a person for an hour, what's stopping us from doing it for, say, 7 months on a trip to Mars? Well, the answer is the brutal, toxic hangover that comes with reanimation. The #1 danger is something called reperfusion injury. What happens is when you reintroduce oxygen to tissues that have been starved of it for a while, you can create this chemical explosion of free radicals. Your own body essentially attacks itself, triggering massive inflammation, organ failure. It's bad. Honestly, this is the best analogy I've ever heard for it. Imagine you pause your music perfectly, but when you hit play again, that sudden rush of power just blows out the speakers. That is exactly what we're trying to prevent from happening inside the human body.
So, the solution is to find a workaround. Researchers now are focusing on a very specific group of neurons in the brain that kind of acts like a master thermostat for the whole body. The ultimate goal is to create a hibernation pill that can flip this exact switch and just tell the body to accept this low-energy state without putting up a destructive fight.
And yeah, while all this research is being driven by that big dream of space travel, its most profound and immediate applications might actually be right here on Earth. But first, let's just be clear about why this is so critical for space. It's not about saving money on food and snacks. It's because deep space is a radioactive hellscape. Hibernation literally protects astronauts because cells that are dividing slowly with low oxygen are way more resistant to the DNA shredding power of cosmic rays. That sleep pod is a fortress.
So, what would this actually look like in, say, 20 years? Well, forget the sleek pods. I want you to picture a hospital ICU. The astronauts won't be frozen solid, just very cold and pale, probably twitching a little, hooked up to IVs and catheters. And the wake-up, it's not some refreshing stretch. It's 2 weeks of intense physical therapy. Yeah, this is not glamorous. This is pure survival.
And this is where the real-world impact just becomes crystal clear. Imagine a paramedic showing up to help a stroke victim. They inject a stasis drug, and that patient's biological clock just stops. For their brain cells, that 30-minute ambulance ride to the hospital takes 0 seconds, preventing irreversible damage. This could completely redefine emergency medicine as we know it.
We are right on the verge of learning how to step outside the river of time. The final question really isn't if we'll achieve this, but what we'll do with it. Because once we truly learn how to pause life, will we ever want to jump back in?